Good day everyone. So this is our group presentation. So let's start. The national budget cycle is all about allocating the revenue and borrowed funds in order to execute program, projects, and activities of the national government agencies. The national budget cycle of the Philippines have four phases. The budget preparation, budget legislation, budget execution, and budget accountability. Pagpa-budget ay dumadaan sa proseso. Ang pambansang budget ay naglalaman ng mga gastusin mula sa kita at utang ng gobyerno na kung saan inaaprubahan ng Kongreso at ipinapatupad ng mga ahensya ng mga pamahalaan. But always remember or take note that the four phases of budget cycle overlap is continuing cycle. The budget preparation. Budget preparation starts with the budget call, the parameters and procedure to guide in preparing their respective purpose budget. Pero hindi lahat ng proyekto ng gobyerno ay napopondohan sapagkat limitado lamang ang kaba ng bayan. Mas marami kasi ang nakikitang pangangailangan kaysa sa nakukuhang buwis. Kaya naman umuutang pa ang gobyerno para mapunan ang pangangailangan. At para mapunan ito, nagdedesisyon ng Pangulo at nasasakupan ito sa tulong ng DBM kung alin nga ba ang ahensya ang tataasan at babawasan ng budget at kung anong performance target ang itatakda. Pero paano nga ba nakasisiguro ang pamahalaan kung napupunan ang pangangailangan ng mga mamamayan? Kaya naman inilunsad ang bottom-up budgeting o BUB para mabigyan o magkaroon ng boses ang mga mamamayan para sa pagbuo ng budget. After the budget call ensured already, the agencies need to conduct a consultation or propose budget through the Budget Partnership Agreement with Civil Service Organization or CSO, BUB or Bottom-up Budgeting and other participatory budgeting mechanism. RDC consultation. Agencies consult with the Regional Development Council to make sure that their respective budget proposal are aligned with the region development needs and priorities. Agency proposal. Agencies prepare the forward estimate or current cost of their ongoing programs and projects. Presentation to the President and confirmation. The DBM, DOF, and NEDA with BSP present the proposed budget before the President and Cabinet for discuss and approval. And lastly, the consolidation, validation, and confirmation. The DBM validates the approved budget and consolidates this into the budget of expenditures and source of financing and other budget documents. Sa loob ng 7 buwan, nabubuo ang panukalang budget na isusumite ng Pangulo sa Kongreso pagkatapos ng kanyang taunang SONA o State of the Nation Address. So what is House deliberation? The budget bills is tackled by Congress like a legislation. Thus the committee appreciation of the House of Representatives holds public hearing on the proposed project.
To begin with, the House of Representatives reads the President's budget. The House Appropriations Committee and its subcommittees scrutinize the budgets of agencies and departments. The GAB is approved on the third and fourth reading before being transmitted to the Senate.
Senate deliberation. Unlike normal legislation, the Constitution first required the House to prove the GAB before the Senate considered the same.
Legislative proposals are drafted in the form of bills. Bills are general measures which is passed upon may become laws. They include recommendations for the economy, increasing penalties for certain crimes, regulation on commerce and trade, and budgetary appropriation of the government, among others.
Bicameral deliberation. After the House and the Senate approve their version of GAB, they each from a panel of lawmakers that will constitute the Bicameral Conference Committee or BICAM.
In fact, bicameral refers to a government organization that consists of two houses or legislative bodies that are deliberating independently of one another.
Ratification and enrollment. The harmonized on BICAM version of GAB is then submitted back to the both House, which then vote to ratify the final GAB. Both houses then submit or enroll the ratified GAB to the President.
Ratification and enrollment. When both chambers agreed on identical bill language, the bill is ordered enrolled. Ratification occurs when the presiding officer signed the enrolled bill. The signed bill is then forwarded to the governor by the enrolling office.
Enactment. Budget legislation ends when the President signed the GAA into the law.
Enactment. To start, throughout most parliamentary systems, the budget is presented to the legislature and typically involves legislative approval. Through this budget annual, the government implements economic policy and realizes program priorities.
First, what is budget execution? Budget execution is the process of monitoring, adjusting, and reporting on the current year's budget. The explanation of this topic is the process by which the financial resources made available to an agency are directed and controlled towards achieving the purposes and objects for which budgets were approved. What is early procurement activities? Procurement is the process of sourcing and acquiring the goods and service a company needs to fulfill its business model. An explanation, it is the series of processes that are essential to get products or services from requisition to purchase order and invoice approval. While purchasing is the overarching process of obtaining necessary goods and services on behalf of an organization, procurement describes the activities involved in obtaining them. Next, what is budget program? Budget program is an agency submit budget execution documents to outline their financial plans and performance target for the year. The DBM consolidates these plans into the budget program, which breaks down the allotment and cash release for each month of the year. What is allotment release? The DBM issue allotment to agency to authorize the latter to incur obligation with the released documents. The enacted budget itself serves as the allotment release for all the budget items except those contained in a negative list that are issued the special allotment release order after agencies comply with the documentary requirements. Next, what is obligation? Agency incur liabilities that the national government will pay for as they implement program, activities, and projects. Agency incur obligation when they hire new staff or enter into a contract with supplier of goods and services that are subject to a transparent and competitive procurement process. Next, what is cash allocation? Allocation of funds is to set aside a certain amount of money for an expense. You usually hear about the government allocating funds for education or the military, but you may personally allocate some of your allowance to buying comic books. And last, what is disbursement? Disbursement is the act of paying out or disbursing money. Example of disbursement include money paid out to run a business, cash expenditure, dividend payments, or the amounts that a lawyer might have to pay out on a person's behalf in connection with a transaction. Disbursing money is part of cash flow.
I'm here to discuss the budget accountability. First, what is budget accountability? It is an approved budget and the managers who are responsible for ensuring that the budget is achieved. Okay, number 1, performance target. Budget accountability starts with the setting of targets that agency A to be held accountable for with the performance-informed budget. The GAA now contains the target outcome, outputs, and performance indicators of each agency. These targets are also reflected in agencies BED's CISPA budget program under budget execution, which effectively serve as the agency plans of the year. So sabi dito is have clear measurable outcomes and objectives. Define the time period for achieving these outcomes objectives. Number 2, citizen engagement. To empower citizens during budget accountability, the government ensures transparency. Agencies disclose their budget reports and other relevant information through the transparency seal and make it available data in open format. In addition, the government also publish the people budget along with other technical documents and report. So sabi dito is a critical role in advocating and helping to make public institute more transparent, accountable, and effective, and contributing innovative solution to complex development challenges. Number 3, monitoring and evaluation. Agencies must set up and implement monitoring and evaluation mechanism to ascertain the effectiveness of the program and the projects on which they spend. Agency must have internal control mechanism to ensure that public funds are spent and accounted for properly. So it is a combination of data collection and analysis, monitoring and assessing to what extent a program of intervention has or has not met objectives. Evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation have been used to assess the performance of the project, program, and social initiatives. Okay, number 4, agencies accountability reports. Agencies submit financial accountability reports on a monthly or quarterly basis as required by the DBM and the COA. These reports are submitted online through the Unified Reporting System. Okay. Number 4. Sabi dito is state law requires each state agency to submit an annual accountability report to the Governor and General Assembly that must contain the agency mission, objectives to accomplish the mission, and performance measure that shows the degree to which objectives are being met. The information contained in each agency report is used to aid decision makers in their analysis of each agency budget. Okay, number 5, performance review. The DBM reviews the financial and physical performance of the agency against their targets. Review mechanism include the the ZBB to evaluate the efficiency and effectiveness of program, and the FTDUs to closely monitor agency performance and address bottlenecks proactively. So, sabi dito sa number 5 is a performance review is a formal assessment in which manager evaluates an employee's work performance, identifies threats and weaknesses, offer feedbacks, and set goals for future performance. Performance review are also called performance appraisals or performance evaluation. So number 6 is in-year reports. The DOF and the DBM regularly publish snapshot of the government fiscal performance, revenue collection, debt, and expenditures. So sa number 6 is are designed to achieve a range of objectives, including improving local government's ability to deliver basic service by improve financial sustainability and better medium-term planning and policy choices on service delivery. Yun. So, sa number 7 na tayo, DBCC Mid-Year Report. The DBCC publishes a comprehensive report on macroeconomic developments, the fiscal situation of the national government, and the performance of the key programs and projects. The mid-year report also discusses any adjustment DBCC makes to the government's economic project and fiscal target for the rest of the year. So this is number 6I are designed to achieve the range of objectives, including improving local ability to deliver basic service, met to review the government's medium-term macroeconomic assumption, fiscal program, and growth targets. We have revised macroeconomic assumption and targets to take into account recent positive developments that will help prepare the Philippine economy to strong recovery starting 2021. So sa number 8 is DBCC year-end report. So same lang sila ng number 7. The DBCC publishes another comprehensive report covering the full year compared to the mid-year report. The year-end report provides more discuss in details about actual revenue and expenditure outcomes against program and the financial and physical performance of priority programs. So sa number 8 is these developments include our gradual recovery, the better than expected performance of the main revenue. So number 9, the audit. The COA reviewed the accounts of each agency to ascertain if public funds are used properly according to the law and standard and with value for money. The COA produced audit reports for each agency, a whole of government annual financial report, as well as a special audit reports. The DBM uses COA's audit report in confirming agency performance, determining budgetary levels for agencies, and addressing issues in fund usage. So sabi dito is an auditor followed by physical checking of inventory to make sure that all departments are following documented system of recording transaction. It is done to accuracy of financial statement provided by organization.